Agent Parquet here with VPX Baseball, and today we're going to start lesson 1 of pro grade long toss, right? I'm about maybe 60 feet, right about that range, maybe a little less. I'm going to walk you through the entire process, and then as we move through the lesson plan, I'm going to give you a lot more that you can grind and eat upon, right? So to start off with, right, our body just got warm, we're loosened up, but we haven't actually started throwing, right? Maybe we just did a little toss to kind of get some blood flow. But now the first step to long toss is making sure that you create good motor patterning, right? And that motor patterning is going to play dividends into once you get further out and you're throwing, when we get out to whatever distance you're trying to accomplish long toss with. The first thing about long toss is simple, okay? It's debatable as far as how far you should go, right? Some MLB organizations are real stringent, and they're saying the further you get out, the more that you kind of what we call, you know, artillery throw, where you're here and you're just going this way, right? Which obviously we know is not true extension. It's just trying to just get long. And so they feel that there's a tendency to have a release point that's higher in the zone, right? Some are saying, hey, you know what, I really like it. And we're going to get all the way out, you know. So ultimately speaking, a lot of schools have thought on it, but the one thing that I do know as a former MLB pitcher and an MLB consultant who trains at that level is really simple. Long toss cannot be erased from your game plan, okay? You can lift all you want, you can do all of those types of things, but nothing takes the place of really good long toss and a good session on it for two things. One, you're getting all the way out with the full range of motion and the movement of the lower half, creating the kinetics chain reaction, the sync, the rhythm, but also you're getting out here and you're able to build the whip, internal, external, internal pronation, elbow extension, and all of the things that are required to have velocity. Basically, long toss is a fast twitch muscular response, which obviously correlates into the game. The second thing is, if you can hit spots or feel good with your leverage changes and how your body is moving into your target at longer distances, bullpen and actually competing on the mound is just a shortened version, and it'll be a lot easier, right? So the idea behind long toss is really simple. If I can unlock my scap at a long distance and allow my arm to accelerate and extend further as we move further out and we're gaining more velo, we're doing the different aspects of long toss, then what's happening is this scap or decel or braking system is allowing more excel, right, power. And then you build it, because since you have more excel power, then the braking system becomes stronger. And remember that pitching and power and velocity, all of those things wrapped in, are all built upon how much you can decel will allow how much you can excel. It's not vice versa, because your body's not going to hurt itself. The more you can decel, the more your power in your lower half in your arm will be unlocked, so that way you have a braking system, right? So realistically, it's like, would you get in a Ferrari that could only stop 60 miles an hour? Probably not, right? But if your brakes on your Ferrari could stop 200, you would get in and drive 200. You get the idea, okay? So we're going to start off with this, and we're going to kind of give you some of the components, right? If check out our other videos on what the pro delivery is, because you'll see how it correlates here, right? So I'm about 55, 60 feet. And I'm just going to start motor patterning, meaning I'm going to get my arm stroke motor pattern proper. And what I want to make sure on the first aspect of this is the timing sync between my separation, when I come up, and front foot strike. So basically, I want to land and throw here. Land, throw, okay? And I'll find out the correlation between inside and outside based upon how quick I am on my upper half, where if I'm too quick, I've lost support and the ball's going to go, right? But I just want to basically be fluid, land and throw, right? Land and throw, okay? As I move through, if I want to start to go to that side, because you obviously want to do that, stay closed longer, right? That one inside, right? I meant on inside. So if I want to do the inside, I got to stay closed longer because that's a longer arm slot. My apologies on that. Again, I'm going to stay closed longer, right? And I'm exaggerating it for you, and I'm trying to go as slow as possible. Now, if I want to go arm side, I want to work more this way with my shoulders and more linear, right? So more linear. A little better. I kind of pulled it a little, and obviously got to stay linear more. Right there, okay? As I get moving through with all this, I want to start to engage the lower half. You're going to start to move back, right? So I'm just creating a good arm stroke, feeling that, getting the blood flow, right? Lay and throw. Feel pretty good about that. Now, I want to start to engage the lower half. And you see a lot of pro guys doing this where they're at a short distance, but they're crow hopping. Because what they're doing is they're trying to engage the lower half with movement and get it to sync with the upper half, which is your arm stroke, right? Right here. Okay? I'm going to work inside and outside on your guy. It could be here and here kind of thing. I'm not just going to throw it to him. And then the next portion, after I get kind of all of that, motor patterning warmed up and built, right? We want to build it slowly. Then what I want to do is start to be chest out, stand as tall as you can. Because chest in is going to be like this. Basically what you have to do is pull. Okay? When I'm chest out, I stay this way, which is what I want, right? And so here, this is going to be chest out. You see how the ball stays true. I'm supported, and then I can go. Feel good about that, right? So the components to long toss are essentially the same as pitching. First one is getting a good arm stroke that syncs with the lower half drive, right? Making sure they're in timing, because that's the key, sequencing and timing. So I'm going to build that motor patterning, short distance, and feel good about that. Then I'm going to make sure that my linear drive and me riding my back hip doesn't come off too early and then I get sideways. And I'm going to play with it, right? Stay closed longer to get to the opposite arm side. And when I want to go arm side, right, then I go more this way and have a longer linear drive, because it does take two different movement patterns to be consistent on the inside and outside. Then after that, right, I'm going to be chest out more. That way I'm supported downwind and I can be right here and just go. As well as I'm landing and then going, right, which creates the kinetic sync. Now we're going to move back, so we're going to go all the way back here to about 120. And when we're moving back, obviously, we're going to slowly move, right, with what we're trying to accomplish, okay? And when we're doing that, you want to be easy with the long toss, right? You don't want to go crazy on it. You want to slowly go and constantly make sure that you are crow hopping and going. You know, there's a lot of schools of thought where they're saying, you know, when you're rolling with it, that you have to stay without a crow hop until you get to 90 and out. No, I think that you should engage the lower half as soon as possible, because what we're trying to do is create forward movement, making sure that we're supporting down at the very end, right? Let's bring the camera a little closer. About right in there is good, and then we're gonna work here, okay? So I'm just gonna be here, I'm gonna crow hop, and I'm gonna start off when I get out to these distances. We aren't airmailing it, right? And we wanna get the most important part, which is extension, with that scap being unloaded, right? Unload the scap, keep it as little tension as possible, right? Your scap, if you don't know what it is, check it out on Google, and you'll find that it's really your braking system in a scap. If this is the back of your shoulder, needs to be mobile and fluid and move. And the more tension we put on it, the more that it pulls and holds the front of the shoulder and all of that from accelerating. So obviously we know that's less velocity, but the more that it's fluid and the longer it stays fluid within your delivery, the more velo we're going to get, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to really, long toss is about training your scap response to load and unload in conjunction with how much force you're giving, right? And the more limits are, the more limitations you place upon it, the slower you go, okay? And the less limitations, obviously, the harder you throw. So I'm just going to kind of get loose into this. I'm going to take my crow hop. I've got a a cone right here, so I can be kind of the same spot every time, right? And I'm just gonna get all the way out there. I'm not warm, but as I get warm, you'll see, right? I'm gonna crow hop. I'm gonna just kind of feel the ball off my fingers. That's key, making sure you feel if you're getting sideways. So if I pull off of it, I'll feel more of this compared to this, right? That feels good compared to if I pull off a little too early, right? You're gonna see my arm get sideways. I'm exaggerating, but you can kind of see the components to it, okay? And as I get a little more blood flow, right? So I'm gonna start to bring the ball down a little, right? Now long toss is not about throwing seeds. Long toss is about getting a slight arc and unlocking your braking system, which is your scap. So I'm gonna unlock, and hopefully what you'll see is this action at the end compared to this action, right? I'm trying to do it for you here. Right? I feel my scap at the very end pulling, and that's what you want. You want to feel kind of that rubber band effect on the back here pulling because you're getting extension. But I can't get extension by doing this. I've got to stay tall, and I've got to push my lower half forward to prop my upper half, right? So I got to push that way, therefore I can unlock. But as soon as I'm this way too much, this is obviously going to get tension and try to pull everything back. So I basically, the more that I get this way, right, the more tension we have because I'm pulling it through, the more that I can be this way, the more it unlocks and I can go at it, right? So I'm gonna do it wrong where I'm pulling off here, right? I'm this way, and I'm doing it, I'm exaggerating, that's why the ball is so far off. Again, I'm gonna pull off again, right? So you can see my arm is left, back. Compared to if I get this way, watch what happens, because this is kind of the key to proper long toss. Watch what happens. Right? I feel good about that. And then at that point, if I want to put a little more into it, I can. Right? Or start to throw some seeds and back up, and that's where I get the distance. That's the key to the distance. It's not by going at it harder this way. It's by going at it harder this way, right? So it's here, boom. And the quicker and harder I can go at it this way by staying chest out and propping myself up, the more I can stay in this position with a loose or unlocked scap, and therefore I can go boom, right? Now think about this when I'm on the mount. Come in here, get in here, this is a good position, right? Right in this position, and then I go boom. I don't go this way and pull it. I come here and then come down with it, right? So basically, the more supported you are later, more supported I am later, the more ability I have to do this. This is where velo comes from. Big time velo. This is where I'm taking all of the energy and using it right and getting that good arm width. The more that I do this and go max effort and pull off, the less ability I have, because obviously that's, can't do much. This I can, right? Boom. You can see the difference. So again, staying supported underneath, right? You can see how the ball just keeps carrying. If I put a little more juice on it, okay? It's almost to where I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna pull off at the end here and watch what happens. You can see how it just never gets there, compared to if I'm going this way and giving myself more support later on, not this way, but this way, so that later on I'm propped up and I can unlock all of the arm whip and energy. Watch what happens. Okay? So, last portion of all of this. You have to get in a position with your lower half where you are not coasting into foot strike and then throwing. You can be this way, but if you coast, that's a decel motor pattern. You have to land push, right? Land push. Same thing, one more time, this is very important. Land push. and keep pushing, not jumping, but driving and pushing. Drive and push into and through foot strike. If you do it right, what you're gonna feel is this catapulting effect, and it's gonna create a great power sail. Boom, there's my power sail. That tells me that you've actually pushed through it, and you've continued that, so you get down slope, you have all the energy still stacked, and then you go. It's kind of like creating a bigger tidal wave. So you can have a tidal wave that just kind of goes, or you can create a lot, right? Because you got this backside going, you're gonna crest it, and then you're gonna catapult, and it gets higher that way, right? We want that action, not that action. And if I do it correctly, okay, this is what will happen. I'll land and push, watch. Right? That's what I want right there, okay? Again, land and push, okay? You can see my hips moving forward. If I did it sideways here, same thing, push, right? So now I'm just gonna throw and do that right there, okay? Came off of it, stopped a little there. We get a good one, okay? You see how the ball just stays up, right? So as you move back, make sure, number one rule, don't load, don't create tension in your scap. Keep it unloaded, keep it free flowing, keep it as late as you can going. The second thing, how do we do that? It's by creating more support. Right here, it's unloaded. Here, it's not, right? It's starting to get loaded up too much, and then I have to decel. So I'm not gonna pitch from right here. I'm gonna pitch from down here. So I gotta make sure that I get this action so it props me up, supports, and keeps my scap unloaded. Therefore, all the energy can be used this way through arm whip, boom, through elbow extension, through higher internal to external rotation degrees. Therefore, the ball goes heavy. And obviously, the lower half is very important in all this. Number one thing is making sure that we don't open up, because that's gonna get us here. A good hip to shoulder separation, which is gonna be that, right? And making sure that from this position, we can go boom and prop us up. And if you do it right, it should look like this. Right there. Ball stays true, stays good. You don't want to put a lot of energy into it, and it stays where it needs to go. Hopefully you like this video. Check out our other ones. We've got a few more lesson plans in this. We got a full line of products to get you to the big leagues.